Hi, I'm Michael. Welcome to my channel. I'm currently just sitting here drinking some coffee. And honestly, I feel like coffee really adds to a conversation. Yeah, I just wanted to get on here really quickly and just talk about a few topics. One being reciprocity, another topic being, um, responsibility for one's actions, and then I think the last topic is going to just be about, you know, I think attributing information to actions and words is like very much something that I think is necessary when reading someone sometimes. Um, so let's start with the first one, which is reciprocity. I feel like in any relationship, reciprocity is like really integral. Reciprocity is like it shows that someone is putting forth the effort into whatever you're pursuing with them, whatever kind of relationship, whether it's familial, romantic, or friendship, like it's, or an acquaintance even, like even if it's like someone who's just at work, you know, that reciprocity is really important. Um, because you want a relationship to feel like it's like teamwork, you want to feel like you guys are both working toward um not a specific goal, but like things that you guys want, goals that you want for your relationship. And it could be that you don't know the goals. It's always good to like write them out, always good to like think about them just in case. Um but yeah, reciprocity is super important. And I know sometimes when we really appreciate someone in our lives, or love someone, um, or really want a person in our lives, even if it's like a new connection, and you don't get that reciprocity. And I think it's good to communicate that, like, hey, I'm not receiving this, and I really, would prefer what X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. That's really important. But I think that reciprocity, most of all, is really integral to a relationship. I think it shows teamwork, it shows community, it shows all these great things. Um, and I think it's like an identifier of how well your relationship can do. It's one of the identifiers, I'll say. Sometimes people's, reciprocity, it's gonna lower. It's not gonna be the same every time, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be the same consistently. Um, just because people have stuff going on in their lives, and it's like up to us as people within those relationships to decide whether or not we can stay there for that, or we can be there for them, which I think you probably should, because people are always going through shit, and it's good to like be there, if anything. If they're there for reciprocity, if they're there for you, I don't know. But yeah, and then with accountability of like one's own actions, I think it's very important to, kind of think about, you know, how you're showing up and how you are showing up for yourself as well. Because it's not just for the other person, it's also for yourself. So if you're not receiving that reciprocation, if you're not receiving that, um, you know, the responsibility of their own actions towards your own relationship, I think that's really important as well. But I think it's also really important to like look at how they view themselves and how they are with themselves. Um, and sometimes people are just like very focused on themselves and like the relationships they already have, and that's okay too. Um, And if you are like trying to have any relationship with someone in whatever way, again, not just romantic, it's, really important to take these things into account and how they treat you and they treat themselves and others. But yeah, that's that. And then the third thing, last thing, is, taking a person's actions and also attributing the information to their words. So if someone's like, I really enjoy reciprocity within relationships. Okay, cool. But if they themselves are not reciprocating um through their actions, um like it's different if like their verbiage is different, you know what I mean? But it's also a whole other thing if their actions are conflicting with what they're saying. So it's like, which one should you believe more? You know what I mean? Because you can't always believe actions over words, and you can't always believe words over actions. I think you just have to kind of go with the flow. Has to be a little bit of a mix. It's also dependent on the person because a person can be very action based and can just say whatever with the words, or a person can just be like very action based and just not say much with their words, or a person can say a lot with their words and not be very action based. I think it's just again dependent on the kind of relationship, what you want from that relationship, and the goals that are involved. Because I think relationships are really not all about goals, but I think they're often about goals. Like, like you want to grow with a person, you want to feel with a person, you want to talk with it, like, like you want to have that reciprocity. And if that, I think that can make or break a relationship. Um, Especially if it's not like reciprocity you want. Um, but I think that's very important. Actions and words can do a lot when it comes to just like, I don't know, thinking about shit. And I think it's not wrong or improper to attribute certain information to other people, but I think if you like attribute information without talking to a person about it, or maybe you're not close enough to feel like you can talk with them about it, I think it's just something you have to feel out. I don't know, I feel like people are very complex, and in my experience with people, I am naturally just like a very, I don't want to say deep thinker, but I'm very analytical when thinking about things. And people attribute more information to what I say because I am so analytical about things. So like if I tell someone no, I could see us being like, if I tell someone something deep, like, oh, yeah, like I think you're XYZ ABC 1 2 3, and I love that, and I really like that about you. I really like that about you. I think it's a great quality you have, and I really would appreciate it within my life. Sometimes people may not like appreciate that. That's okay though. That's okay though. It just shows that like you may not, or maybe you shouldn't have that relationship right now. Or maybe it's just like too soon, or maybe it's just like too soon to say that, people have different levels of intensity that they can experience, and people have different levels of um, reciprocity they can experience. Again, it's all about feeling it out. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna enjoy my coffee now, but I just felt the want to say something like that. I don't know if this is probably not gonna get any traction because I'm just posting this shit. But yeah, thank you, and we'll talk. Okay, bye.